Sick. All right. What is going on today, guys? Welcome to the Jason Wojo podcast. I am here with Steven Pemberton. He is basically previously in the corporate world, and he wanted to pursue his calling. He left the corporate world in 2020, and then his wife and himself built two seven-figure e-com brands, which led them to coaching other businesses to do that as well. But the crazy part is that now he's running high converting funnels for coaches to run challenge funnels. And I'm in the agency space, so I'm very curious to hear about that. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for taking the time to have me on.
Yeah, of course, man. Happy Saturday too. Doing the grind on a Saturday. I was like, I tried to get two other guests this week, and then both of them flaked. And then they rescheduled for like February. And I was like, damn, I need somebody really quick. And then you accepted the request. I was like, thank God. So, okay, I want to hop right into this. So what are the two e-com brands that you run right now? And then I'll get into some e-com based questions.
So for us, we actually, what ended up happening with ECOM, we actually did home decor. So for a long time, the two different things that we did was one, we built a seven-figure e-com brand on Amazon. And we ended up just hating Amazon because Amazon shut us down when we were already using a supplier. And for most people, they don't understand that with Amazon, like you're at their mercy. So when they shut us down, they hold your money indefinitely. So they were holding $58,000 of our money, and they said, hey, you ain't getting this back. And it's basically, you almost have to just imagine as if you have to go into court and you had to bring lawyers and everything to prove that you did nothing wrong. That's the same thing you have to do with Amazon for them to even release your money, which if you think about it, because you're in business, you understand this, is like there's times where you would hold on to somebody's money to make sure there's no returns, make sure there's that gap. But after all that's done, why wouldn't you just give it back?
Yeah.
But Amazon, they just held on to all that. So we ended up pivoting away from Amazon. And then we started doing Facebook, Shopify. And that's when we really got into home decor. Home decor was great for us. So we were selling anything and everything. We were selling chairs, stuff like what you're sitting in right now.
Yeah.
We were selling dressers. We were selling like throw pillows, all that stuff. And we just found massive success in the synchronicity of using Facebook with Shopify. Because so many people, you'll see it all the time. People want to do do Shopify drop shipping and even like a private label drop shipping brand, but they miss out on the power that is Facebook. Facebook's got 3 billion users. So when you sit there and you integrate like Facebook Marketplace, you integrate Facebook Shops, there's so much more leverage that you have than just having a Shopify store and
Now,
running
yeah. So most of the traffic you're getting,
system.
most of the traffic you're getting is not only paid, it's mostly organic too.
Yes. And that's what we did. So when we did over $1 million, I only spent $100 on ads. And most people, when I tell them that, they say there's no way. It's like, but I was getting almost 500,000 users coming to my Facebook shops every single month for free because that was the power of the algorithm right then. Now, to be completely transparent, it is not that way anymore. They are very much now pushing you to pay if you're in the Facebook Marketplace space and Facebook shops, but there still is leverage because you still have that organic traffic.
Yeah. So obviously the biggest thing to take away from that is like, I know for sure the reason why you did that niche is because it's more high ticket. There's more margins.
Yes.
A lot of people try to sell these dinky ass, like $30 drop shipping items, and they wonder why they're not profitable because they don't understand the KPIs of selling high ticket.
Yes.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you is like, did you get the money back?
Yes. Now that took 8 months, and so this is exactly. And so this is what happened. So we were in, and again, we've done $1 million on Amazon, but our margins were absolutely terrible. I think we had maybe 10% margins. So you're like one mistake away from being out of business, and this was it. So whenever they were holding that 58K, we had all of that in inventory. It wasn't as if it was just, oh man, that sucks. That was all sales. Like, no, this was all in inventory costs as well. So we needed that operating cost for the next month. And what ended up happening was when we shifted over, it took, again, from this moment when we shifted, it took 7 months to get that money back. Even as you said, is this not just about like the little low ticket stuff? There is an advantage when you sit there and you do low ticket things to sit there and gain some kind of brand awareness, and then you scale into high ticket. But if you can do both simultaneously, like I had one shop that would sit there and we do throw pillows, and then you would sit there and start garnering sales, and then on top of that, we'd also be able to, because you're basically making nothing, making $2 a pillow. But when you sit there and you leverage a higher ticket thing like a dresser that's $800 and your margins are $400 or $500, That's a huge difference. So being able to do both of those, so I'm getting more sales, people know who I am, they know who my shop is, and that's why they trusted buying bigger, higher ticket stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other side of the coin is like when you're selling the high ticket, were you running anything in the back end like email and et cetera to get them to buy more stuff?
No,
You were doing none of that?
no. So this is like what's crazy is I'd had no idea what business really looked like. I mean, I easily looking back on it now, because this was a couple years ago. I was not a couple years, about a year and a half ago. When I look back on that, I was like, man, I could have scaled that to 2-3 million so easily now with skill sets, like running paid marketing up front, sitting there and actually knowing email automations on the back end, SMS automation, all these different things, mini chat, whatever it may be. You could have easily scaled that. And yeah, but the other thing that does suck with Facebook, and why we pivoted away from ecom, is the fact that, like, especially using that system, is it's still good. You can still make money with it, but the margins aren't great for you to have to deal with all the ups and downs of Facebook. There would be almost every single month that Facebook would just shut down one of my shops. Hey, you're going into a security review, just make sure everything's okay. If you're doing 200 to 300 orders a day, that's a big deal when that thing just goes away. And then you don't get it back for 24 hours. And then when you're depending on organic traffic, then all of a sudden it basically would reset you. And so you would go from being the top seller to basically at the bottom and having to work your way back up. And so that volatility is what drove us away from doing that.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I'm running ads and my ads stop.
Yep.
It's like shit. Like it just ruins the whole nurture and just the attribution of the actual campaigns themselves.
Yeah.
Now the next thing is like, dude, you went from running the ecom brands. You still run them right now or no?
No.
No. Okay. So then what made you transition to running challenge funnels for coaches?
So the reason why we made that shift was once we actually started making money with ecom and we were able to keep some of that, is we actually found it for us is it wasn't just about making money. It was like, how can we impact people? So we ended up helping 170 underprivileged kids have Christmas. And that was either through raising or donating over $40,000. And we just love that impact. And to be real transparent, is the high ticket space is really where your margins are just insane. Like for us, for every client we bring on, we keep 100%. We don't have overhead. So the overhead is just my time. So with that being said, would I rather get one client that makes you 10 grand, or would I rather have to do, I don't know, 2,000 sales in a month to make 10 grand? It's a big difference.
Yeah. So you're running these challenge funnels. I've seen them. I have clients who run them too. So I'm very curious to get your input on like the kind of sequences that you use. But what I would assume is that you're probably running like a 5-day, 7-day challenge. And then you're using ManyChat to get them in. And then basically from there, are you helping them with their sales reps and account managers through the challenge, like to build rapport with the person through the 5 to 7 days?
Yes. So we're basically a one-stop shop where we help on the front end. Like we do all the front end stuff when it comes to the Facebook ads, helping them with the audiences, helping them with everything except for the creative part. Like we will have a say in it, and we can do certain graphics based on what the client wants, but it's about directing the client to have a say and input on their video and that kind of stuff. And there's so much stuff you can do in Facebook to actually leverage that to help people get into that Facebook group. And then of course with Instagram too, because that's almost 4 billion users. It's just insane. But we nurture them to the front end. We nurture them right in the middle of it with the Facebook group, set all that up, how you do the flow of every single day, how it all works for you to be the hero of the story and the guide. Not because so many people get lost in, hey, this worked for me, and this is why you should sign up because it worked for me. But that's not how people buy. It's like, okay, great, that worked for you, but how is that going to work for me? And so helping that person, that client, understand how to be the hero, this is what I found, and guide people through that process, and then do the offer drop after they've done the know, like, and trust over, like you said, the 5 days. And then even on the back end, it's like, how do you drop that offer? How does it make sense? How do you sit there and overcome objections? And then how do you fulfill? Is we actually do from beginning to end.
So what are some best practices that coaches can use for a challenge funnel right now? Like, what do you see that's working the best? Is it the amount of time? Is it just the offer in general? Are you like, when they get into the challenge, is there an activation call? Like, what are these things that you're doing to make sure that there's a good nurture through the whole entire challenge?
So the way that we've seen it is it's not only for the coach. Something that we do as well is like, as a coach is sharing. Let's say that you were talking about running ads, being an advertiser, is as you're doing that is for one other person to be in the group and just nurturing it. Like being in there when somebody comments is, or if you say something that's like a bombshell, they just put it in the comments. They're driving that engagement. And then at the end of the day, it's actually having a homework. Hey, if just share one thing in the group that you picked up after today's call. Because when you're driving that active engagement, that is how at the end of the day, more people will see it. And one thing that we like to look at is, instead of just looking at it in the short term of one challenge, is how do you look at it in the long term of maybe 2 to 3? Because the first one, I don't know about you, but it took a long time for me to get comfortable in front of a camera. The client we just had, like he's but a client that we have right now, he's actually on a list with Grant Cardone, Steve Ballmer, all these other people that are billionaires, and this is his first ever challenge. And for him, he was even saying, like, I didn't quite understand how the flow worked and all these things. And it really is the first one you should look to learn, unless you're just crazy comfortable and you've done webinars, you've been on stages, you've been on other things. The first one should just you being comfortable. Get comfortable with how it works. The second one, you can start making sales. The third one is where you just are all in because you understand how all of it works. But to answer your question, is it's basically nurturing the people that are in the group. So that coach is speaking, and then for us, is we're in the group nurturing it. So that way people are liking, and trusting the brand as a whole, not just the person.
And then are you running like Facebook ads plus like TikTok as well? Because I feel like TikTok doesn't, because I have a couple clients that we run webinar, funnels for, and also challenges for, using TikTok, to where we share the data between both of them using Hyros. And then we have Facebook ads running in TikTok, and TikTok just fucking crushes the retargeting.
Wow.
So we're getting like, for some of the webinars or challenges, we're getting like $3 an opt-in.
That's
and
crazy.
It's nuts. And then they go to a book call after, because the way that some of them want to do it is they sell the challenge not for free, but they actually make them pay. So do you see a better conversion rate with them paying versus free? Even though free will get more quantity, are they making more on a 7-day LTV on a challenge when it's free or paid? Like, what are you seeing right now?
That is a great question. So for us personally, I see it more in I'm actually going to answer it from both perspectives, because I think it'll add more value to the listener. Is for the free, like you said, is there is more quantity. But as you know, being an advertiser and a marketer is, if your niche, if your audience is honed in enough, if you're speaking to the right people, you're qualifying them as they come in. So to me, is I would rather have the quantity, because that quantity is already qualified if you do it right. Yeah. And when they come in, and as you're nurturing them, the people who that's not resonating with will fall off anyways. And so then if you have like an upsell, or if you have an upsell downsell model, which is what we like to use, is when they come in, is you upsell them. If they don't want the highest ticket thing, you go down, and then you go down one more time, and then they come in to liquidate that front end cost. Is then you are still liquidating, and when those people come in, they're qualified, and the people who bought the upsell are really qualified. And then by the end, you have more quantity, you have more opportunity then it's really on your client. How good are you at dropping the offer? Yeah. And that's where it's like, I want to have responsibility on me and on you, because there's more buy-in from my client if there's responsibility on them being good. Yeah. If it's just all on me on the front of like selling your stuff, and then they can just blame me, well, your funnel didn't convert, well, your ad sucked. So for me, I've seen it. If you can do it, like, yeah, as you said, with the paid stuff, is if you have people pay, then they're much higher. The likelihood of them converting on the back end offer is much higher, period. But it's about getting them to buy the first thing. And that's where the power is. If you get them to buy, there's going to be less quantity, but they are a higher likelihood of conversion rate at the end.
Yeah. So the next thing, and we'll finish up with this, is like, I want to talk about the pricing that you do on the back end, because there's 2 tweaks that I have done on these challenges and just high ticket products in general that have crushed. So like, when the clients are selling their offers, are they doing like are you having them do a payment plan, or do they mostly want to get paid in full?
So for me, what I have them do is I want them to do a payment plan and have the pay in full option. And basically, if you do pay in full, it's cheaper. But with that being said, is like the client that we have right now, what he did this on his own. He actually worked with his own finance team to do this, where it's like you can get invested in and do 3 months at a certain amount with 0% interest. It's like where they don't have to invest anything. up front. And it's like, that's on him. Like, that's crazy. That's cool. But overall, is I'd rather see it.
Well,
You can
it's
do it either
because
way.
he's getting a commission.
Yes. Yeah.
So when he partners with the funding, yeah. So that's one thing that we did. The second thing is this is a little trick. So what we do is we sell the product as, let's say, right, you're selling a 5K high ticket, 10K high ticket. We sell it as a pay half now, pay half later. But here's the kicker. If we say the program, like right now you're selling for a client, let's say it's 10,000. The product is actually now 20. And what we basically say is like, hey, you're going to pay 10,000 today, and you're only going to pay the other half if this end result happens.
Wow.
Technically, the product's still the same price.
Yep.
So everything that you get paid on the back end is completely just profit.
Yep.
And dude, that is fucking crushed, because people are now like, oh shit, I can pay half now, and I'm only going to pay the second half if I get this result. That was the first tweak that we made that basically allowed us to double the person's price without having the person feel any like friction, because now they're only paying the second half. And dude, sometimes people don't pay the second half, but who gives a shit, because you were going to get the first part anyway. That's what you wanted to sell it for in the first place.
That's so smart. I love that. Like, I just want to say, whoever's listening, like, listen to this dude, because that is so smart. Because with that being said, because we had a point in time where we had a different high ticket model where we were helping people in ecom, and it was like 15K. And you pay half, and then if we get you extra results, you pay the other half. But the thing is, we had somebody pay us half, and we needed the whole thing. Yeah. And so with that being said, if we would have just made it 15, and then after this amount, then we get the other 15, that would have been sick, because then you cover your costs. And I think that that's so
everything
important.
Is profit on that second
exactly.
payment. So the third thing that we did was we did weekly payments. Okay. So like in my mastermind that I run, that's like 36,000 a year. People don't want to pay $36,000 a year to be in a mastermind. So I'm like, hey, you don't have to pay me 36 grand. Just pay me X amount a week. You won't feel it. Dude, the weekly payments crush. For people who sell high ticket and that have payment processors, if you get one chargeback, you're fucked.
Yep.
One. Yep. Because you have to sell 100 units and only get 2 chargebacks the most. But if you do weekly payments, you now have a higher quantity of purchase coming through.
Yep.
So now you can relieve your chargebacks, and then you're just taking weekly payments for it. So the payment plan's cool, right? You could do business funding at 0% interest, or you just say, hey, listen, if it's 5K, like I did what the hell was it? $59.97, like a coaching package the other week. And I was like, all right, you know what? Just pay me $9.97 a week for 6 weeks. And they're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. Because they don't feel it. You don't feel it as much. And dude, that has helped our conversion rates drastically. Like, it's been fucking crazy.
That's amazing.
Those are 2 things that we implemented that like literally boosted our conversion rates like over 30%. It's been nuts.
No, that's awesome. I actually took notes on that, because I saw this guy, and what he does is something similar. But what he does is it's I think it's weekly payments, but his program's like $200. And what he does is he does weekly payments of basically 30 cents. It's dirt cheap, but or it might even be weekly. It might be daily, where it's like 20, 30 cents, because he said, I'm honestly just trying to get how many transactions I have up. And I've never really looked at it in that sense of why would you do that? But that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no one's going to go to the credit card company. Like, let's say, right, program's $200 for 365 days. They really going to go and fucking do a chargeback on 365 transactions? The bank won't let them do that.
Yep.
So then people are like, oh shit, like this makes sense. Dude, it's a no-brainer. The other thing that people are doing to increase their like dispute rates, will decrease them, is donations. So when like some of the funnels that we run for clients, they want to increase their transaction rate. So on the last upsell, we're like, hey, do you want to donate $1 to children in need? Like, we're going to give this $1 away. And then the downsell is like, add $2, add 3, add 4, add 5. And they're giving the donation away to where there's 5 transactions, and they're not going to charge back a donation. That's fucked up. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just terrible. It's like help kids in need, and then they do a fucking chargeback. Like, that's just not, that's terrible, dude. You just like took some kid's meal away. So like, those are the things that we started implementing. Now, I don't know if you do this right now with the challenges, but what I think you might be doing this, but basically what we did was we had the sales rep who basically was assigned to them. They follow them throughout the day on Facebook Messenger. So after day 1, account manager comes in, hey, how'd you like today? Give me 3 pieces of feedback. All right, cool. Make sure you have your homework done for tomorrow. Day 2 comes, 10 a.m. This rep is on your ass. Hey, can you send me the homework? Did you not do it? Because now they feel guilty as shit if they don't do it.
Yep.
So now it's day 2. Okay, what did you learn today? Do you have any questions that you want me to answer for you? Okay, cool. Just shoot this to me tomorrow on day 3 in the morning. Day 3 comes, day 4, day 5, etc. Same thing. Then day 5 is like, hey, are you enjoying me holding you accountable? Okay, well, what if I was able to do this every single day for the next 8 weeks? Well, here's how this shit works. Weekly payments, blah, 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 blah. And then they get pitched, obviously, on that last day. I usually run 5-day challenges.
Yep. That's too.
Because I think that, like, if you want to run, like, Russell Brunson stopped running the 30-day funnel challenge for a reason.
Yep.
Because 30 days is too fucking far. And people are too lazy and people are too stupid to stay in there for 5 days. Those are the biggest things that I started doing in my marketing that help was like, I do 3 things. I market not to decrease my lead quality, but I market to people who are, number 1, have 0 common sense, because common sense is not common anymore. Yep. Number 2 is I market to people who are lazy. So that's like, that was a big thing, because people will say like all the time, oh, like you probably heard this. Oh, if I get the leads, I'll close them.
Yep.
If you just get me leads, I'll make the money. Dude, those people who say that are stupid. They don't know sales at all. And then the third thing is that I write my copy and my marketing to a 3rd grade level, because a lot 100%. Of people never grow up, and that's just the way it's going to be. Yeah. And we need to talk to people like they're a 3rd grader, and that always worked. So,
yeah. I love that. That's because that's very similar to what we do, because people just, I don't know why, but people want to use these gigantic words in copy and thinking that they sound really smart, but you actually sound really dumb. Yeah. Because nobody understands it. Like, there's people, because I used to be a manager in corporate for over 5 years. And I had these people that were felons. I had people that, you know, they've been addicted to drugs. There were some people that didn't even know how to read and write that were working for me. Like, these were grown men in their 40s that didn't know how to read and write. So when you're sitting there trying to market and sound, you know, extra fancy with thou shalt and all this stuff, is you are actually, no one's going to convert. And then you're not going to understand because you went to the dictionary and found the most complicated words you possibly could. But it's about reducing complexity, reduce that friction for somebody to actually join. And people don't realize that friction comes from the very first time they see you, friction from the words that you say, friction from the way that you look, all these different things that are friction points. And you got to reduce the friction points to get people to actually do something, because people, like you said, are lazy.
Dude, it's honestly like very upsetting, because the online space right now is going to get completely turned upside down because of this recession that's coming up. Yep. So all the entrepreneurs who thought they were entrepreneurs are now not going to be anymore. They're going to be working at fucking Subway. So it's like, it's just like, it's going to expose so many people, because everybody wants to claim that they're doing something. And now that the economy is shifting, now we're really going to see who's a real entrepreneur and who's not, like who has systems and who doesn't, who has predictability and who doesn't.
Yep.
So that's kind of why I started doing the podcast this year, because I was like, you know what? I need to get out more touch points, more content, more search results, like all this shit that I'm doing. And it's been working so far. It's good, because people will, like, this is the biggest thing that a lot of people don't realize, that if you're a high ticket coach, consultant, or service provider and you're selling shit, the first place people are going is Google.
Yep.
Going to find out what you're doing. And do we have all this UTMs and tracking? Like, we have a Google ad right now that runs $5 a day that just literally retargets all the people that search my name. And dude, we get 13 to 15 book calls a week just from that $5 a day ad, because people are like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? So then they go to Google, they see my ad, and they're like, oh shit. And then they go to a VSL page where there's a book your demo button, and they watch a whole ass video on me. And then they're like, oh, fuck, like, all right, fine. Like, this isn't bullshit. So that's like the biggest thing that we started doing that really helped out, like, you know, leverage, credibility, authority, all that fun jazz. And then also on top of that is, like, I think the biggest needle movers this year for any business owner is predictability. 2 is being able to run multiple traffic sources. If you can't run multiple traffic sources and you get shut down, dude, you are literally fucked.
Yep, you're done.
The third thing is, like, press. I know a lot of people sell press, but dude, press is actually really important, because people really do like people really believe all the paid like articles that people get. Like, they really believe it. 4 is probably just the fact that you need to be posting on like every single social platform right now. And there's like this whole thing that I'm speaking about in my event and next week, which is like how I'm getting 2 million plus views a month without paying for it. I'm doing the Andrew Tate strategy right now. So I got all these fucking meme pages, fan pages, editing my videos for $5 a video. And we're pushing out 37 videos a day.
Wow.
So 37 pieces of content a day across 3 platforms. That's fucking, what is that? Like 90 something pieces of content a day. And I'm only paying $5 a video. So I'm spending $150 a day and I'm selling 2 $97 courses a day. So it pays for itself because all the traffic, people are clicking the links in everybody's bios.
Yeah.
And they're fucking buying it. So I don't pay for it. So it's just crazy because we have like 30 video editors in a chat right now. And we drop a Google Drive folder, these fuckers are just running at the videos and they're just editing them like it's wildfire. And it's nuts, dude, because it works. It converts like crazy. So like that's the thing too. The only thing that I'm struggling with right now is like getting TikTok ads to be quality. I'm just getting so many shit leads from TikTok and I don't know how to wean them out and it's pissing me off. Because that's the last thing for me to figure out is if I can get TikTok to be profitable and quality, decent quality, oh, dude, I'm fucking chilling. So that's the only problem I'm having right now. That's it.
That's awesome. I just want to, like, for everyone that's listening, I just want you to pay attention to what he's saying. Like, because I've been on, this will be my 27th podcast. A lot of them have been about business. You know a lot more than pretty much, you're like in the 0.1 percentile of people I've ever spoken to. The things that you talk about, the way that you articulate your words, there's so much value. This is the first time I've actually just sat here taking notes in the middle of a podcast, like for real, because you just shared so much value in 20 minutes. And I didn't know who you were until you requested a booking. And then as I was looking into him, I was like, oh shoot, like this guy requested a booking for me. But for real, I just want to thank you for taking that time to not only be on here with me, but to just share what you shared. Because if you, to most people, that is Greek. You just spoke a whole different language. But to those of you who are listening who even have half a sense of what to do in marketing, you understand what he's saying. And there's like so much depth and knowledge that you just shared. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. I appreciate it. Well, with that, we'll conclude the podcast. If you guys want to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. I'm not going to beg for it. Might as well. You can follow me on IG. All the links are in the description. I'll drop your links as well. So like, where can they follow you right now?
So right now, the best place to follow me is Instagram, Facebook. Those are really the 2 main ones. And then it's just my name, Stephen Pemberton, both of them. We are restructuring my website, but besides that, just those 2 places, just go to the socials.
All right, cool. All right. Well, thanks for hopping on. And yeah, man, we will definitely network and connect in the future, hopefully. And yeah, if you need any help, just let me know, bro. I'm always here to help out.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
See ya.